Hello everypony. Um, Back at it again. Today's video is a bit of a more um lighthearted video than my last video was poetry, but this is a more recent subject that I've noticed, and kind of a critique on society as well as going over my own personal thoughts of the past week I've had. So let's start off the video with saying, disclaimer, I am just critiquing society, but that does not mean that I dislike the people that I'm talking about. I just mean this is my personal view of what I've seen. So, this past week I've traveled to San Francisco with my boyfriend, and doesn't sound that important. You know, it was a road trip. It was really nice. It was one of the best trips of my life, and I will say that wholeheartedly. Um, but the difference that it's made in my life is that it was my first sense of freedom, if that makes sense. I live with my parents. I am 19 years old, and this was the first trip that I've ever had without any parents at all. You know, like if I it's not the first trip without my own parents. I've gone, with other people's parents, but without any parents at all, and just me and my best friend and my boyfriend, same person. It's a lot to take in. You know, I really needed to decompress afterwards, and it was also my mom's birthday the same week I got back. So, I didn't really get to fully take it all in until like Monday, like a week after the trip. So, basically what I wanted to talk about was how much of a sense of freedom that it creates for people, and how I encourage people to not only travel by themselves if they're able to. Obviously, this is a very rare scenario. I had to do a lot of convincing to my dad specifically, but more so um kind of so for example, the route we took was a coastal route, and my boyfriend, bless his heart, he made the entire thing. Like, he planned everything, which really warmed my heart like crazy. But it avoided highways, like freeways where it was just, like nothing. We coasted on the side of California, and it was such a beautiful experience. Like, I wish I could experience it over and over again because, you know, it was just amazing. And for a majority of the trip, almost all of the entire trip, I didn't go on my phone. You know, at most it was like an hour a day, and it was like cut up between, certain things. And if I was on my phone, it was just to change the music, text my parents that everything was okay. I didn't really check social media at all. And I had also deleted Twitter after the trip, but I wasn't checking Twitter, and Twitter was one of the things that like kind of made me chronically online, if that makes sense. It was like a really bad cesspool of kind of the worst people on the internet. But essentially, if you're able to, definitely take a trip where you're kind of off your phone. And honestly, I would avoid plane rides because I feel like you don't really attach to nature. And if you're gonna take it with someone else, road trips are the best. You know, if you're by yourself, you're just you in the open road, music playing. But if you're with someone else, road trips are also really awesome for that. You just kind of get to talk all the time. But um, what I wanted to talk about was me and my boyfriend. We didn't do the original like the classic touristy stuff. I know we sound so indie movie coded. We're so much better than everyone else. We're not. But we just didn't do that kind of cliche stuff. We did our own little thing. And it was so much funner than I could ever imagine. Coming from a mom who posts everything on social media, who takes pictures of everything, who kind of, she'll go to certain places just to take pictures, and switching that out to my boyfriend who is just showing me these places, and we're kind of just taking it in, just not really taking pictures. It's not like a photo shoot type thing. It's just we'll go to like a beach and we'll just stare. And it wasn't, like I was being held against my will, like, don't use your phone. It was more so I didn't have the urge to use my phone. I didn't have the urge to take any pictures. Although I did take pictures, a lot of them. it was nearly not as much as I was used to because I didn't really feel compelled to take a picture. And that kind of brings me to the point is me and my boyfriend went into this little cave, and there was this little spot. There was like a fence set up to kind of block people, but if you looked in, you could see the waves crashing through like a little hole in these caves from the beach. It was so beautiful, and the sound, it wasn't necessarily the sight, but the sound that really got to me. It was so beautiful. It was so intense, and it just reminded me of how like nature is so powerful. But we just kind of stood there for like maybe 10 minutes just watching and listening and not really saying much. I think like we got a few words out of each other, but we were just kind of admiring. And afterwards we got root beer floats because the way the foam looked in the water just reminded us root beer floats, so we got that afterwards. But as we were walking to look at it, a family of like three or four kind of walked through, and they saw that spot. They grabbed their phones, they took a bunch of pictures, and then left. I don't even think their eyes really kind of looked at the scenery itself. There was just a photographic moment. Don't get me wrong, some things you just have to capture, but I feel like one of those things weren't that. I've been to the Grand Canyon before, and I do admit that pictures really don't do it justice. It's something that's insanely beautiful to see. So I took a bunch of pictures, but in that moment, I also took it in. And I feel like that little moment, like that scenery that we saw, the little rocks and the water, it wasn't really a moment that could be captured. It should have been something that that family enjoyed, even just for a minute. So it really got me thinking, like, why have we as a society kind of not not been admiring more? I feel like it's so normalized for people to just take pictures just for social media. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Do whatever you want, but I feel like if you're going to be taking those pictures, understand why you're taking those pictures. Take a deeper understanding of what about that scenery makes you want to take a picture of that, because I've started to do that more often when I take pictures of things, and it kind of prevents me from taking, unnecessary pictures. Like sometimes I just take pictures of pigeons. I love pigeons. Why do I want to take a picture of them? I think they're cute. I want to look at them later. Sometimes I post them on my story on Instagram, but I just think there's something so innocent and so pure that I want to remember them forever. But when it comes to certain things like that rock formation we saw or the water, I don't want to remember it from a photo screen. Photo screen, is that even a word? From a phone screen. I want to remember the sound, and I could take a video, but I think it's just much more important in society to just kind of take it in. You don't need a picture of everything. You don't need to share everything on the internet. Some things are just better left as an experience. And I will admit, I have a very terrible memory, and it's not something I particularly enjoy having, obviously, but I wish I could control it. So a lot of times I do take pictures to kind of, you know, combat that. But at the same time, it's like I will just try so hard to remember moments. And, obviously sometimes it fails. But I think we should, as a society, I know, smoking my cigarette, thinking I'm so much better, doing critiques on society. I'm not better than any of you. I participate in society, but put down your camera, put down your phone, and just kind of take it in. You don't need a picture of everything. I understand. You want to share it, you want to remember it, you want memories. And I'm not saying never take pictures of anything again. If you're with your family, take a picture. If you're, eating something really good, take a picture. But you should also admire before you take a picture of it. You don't want to remember rushing to get your phone out so you can take a picture. Also, take a shot every time I see a picture. I'm joking. Um, you want to remember how beautiful it looked from your eyes, from your perspective, not from, your incredible quality camera. But it's such a stupid thing that I'm talking about now that I like kind of verbalize it. I sound very pretentious, but admire the scenery around you. Beauty is in the mundane. And ever since I've heard that quote, I've really kind of changed my perspective on life. It's so stupid, but it's so true. Like, there's beauty all around you, and it just takes you to figure it out, you know? I would go to school, depressed as hell, and then I'd just be like, why am I sad? So I'd go outside for a few minutes and I just kind of look around me. You have to romanticize things, and I hate the word romanticize, but it's true. Sometimes you really have to romanticize the things around you in order to feel happy, or else you'll feel this impending sadness or doom because things aren't perfect. Things aren't, what you see on social media, these Instagram influencers, these TikTok stars that have these perfect lives. You need to find the beauty in going to school every day, in going to your shitty job, in being unemployed. Like, some things shouldn't be romanticized, but if you're in a bad situation, don't make it worse on yourself. You know, for me, I was so sad at school. I, felt worthless. I would immediately leave school as class was over, and I just feel like I was stuck in a time loop because I didn't really give myself a break. I would always be on my phone. I would never, take the time to look at things. But then I realized, like, why am I feeling so sad? I'm digging myself in a deeper hole than I already am. I'm already sad. Why am I making it worse for myself? So after class, I would just not use my phone. I would, put on a good playlist of just happy music and walk around for maybe 5 or 10 more minutes before the bus came. Just looked at the trees, looked at the grass, maybe find a bug or two, and then I'd start people watching, not to judge them, but to just wonder what their lives are like. And I think that it's good to do that. I think it's a healthy thing for you to, just jam out to some music and watch the people around you, watch the scenery. It really does help your mental health a lot. Um, like now, I really do feel like I'm in a better state. Um, and that trip to San Francisco, like, it really did change my life. It's so stupid saying it out loud, but I really didn't think that I would have so much fun and just doing that, you know? Like, I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't go to any fancy restaurant that costs like $100 per person. I didn't go to some fancy club and party in this nice outfit. I didn't go to like a tour. I just spent time with my boyfriend. We slept in a hostel, and it was so cool just looking at all the people around us. We went to this restaurant. It was expensive, but was it like crazy out of the world? No, I didn't care. I loved it. I loved every second. We saw the Golden Gate Bridge and we like hopped over a fence to get a closer look, and I know that's not allowed, but it just felt right at the time. And I never would have done it if it wasn't for him encouraging me and holding my hand and saying, like, it's okay to break rules sometimes. It's okay to, you know, do things that I'm not used to that. I'm used to just following rules. I'm used to just, waiting for my parents to tell me what to do. But I realized, like, I'm in control of my life. And we didn't even take that many pictures. We just kind of stared and talked and, you know, laughed and made jokes. It's like, you are in control of your own life and you need to find beauty in the mundane. I guess that should be the title for the video. I don't know, I was gonna name it something else, but I sound philosophical right now. But yeah, so um do that thing you've been wanting to do that you've been putting off for the past week. It's probably gonna take an hour. Go outside and try to find 3 cool bugs, and if you can't find any bugs, try to find 1 cool rock. Stare at the sky and make sure it's really blue or really gray. Who cares? It's beautiful outside, no matter if it's cloudy, if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's sunny. It's a beautiful day to live. Bye, every pony!